Hello everybody and welcome to day one, part one of how to get your biz community side hustle online for free in 5 days. Okay, so in part one, we're going to go through how to plan your website. And this quote pretty much sums it up. The fruit of your own hard work is the sweetest. So let's get started. So what are we going to be covering today? Okay, so I have actually split today into 2 parts because I realised it was actually going to be really intense for you guys. So part 1, we're going to go through how to plan your website. And then in part 2, which I'm hoping you will do this afternoon, will be over in Canva, and it'll be how to create your brand guide and how to create your website graphics. Okay, so who am I? I know there's actually quite a lot of you on here today that have probably even never met me and have no idea who I am. So basically I'm Paula Roulier and I'm a creative geek, web design and tech specialist. And I've basically been designing and building websites and graphic design for over 19 years. And I've actually been working in the IT industry for over 25 years now. Since 2004, when I graduated uni, after studying a BSc in Web and Multimedia, I've basically been self-employed, working for myself. I've had quite a few businesses. Celestial Arts 1.0 was actually a digital design agency, and I had a lovely team of people and staff and everything. And then now Celestial Arts 2.0, I'm just myself. I'm a solopreneur basically, and I'm trying to help save the planet. I'm concentrating on helping eco-conscious and heart-centered businesses with all of the skills and the knowledge that I've collected over the last 25 years. So there you go. That's enough about me. Okay, so what are we going to do? Well, first things first, so over in the Academy, you should see some links on downloading the How to Plan Your Website workbook. So if you can get those downloaded, there is 2 versions of it for you. There's one that's printable, and then there's one that's actually editable using Adobe Acrobat. So don't worry, I'll wait for you. Hit pause, go print them out or download it and open it up, and then we'll be ready to go. Okay, all right, so hopefully you now have either printed out your workbook or you've opened it up in Adobe Acrobat. And basically, there's a few questions that you need to ask yourself. So question number 1 is, who are you and what do you do? Now, obviously, I need you to answer this based on whatever it is you're actually trying to make a website for this week. So if it's going to be a business website, then from the perspective of your business. If you're creating a community website, then from the perspective of that. And the same if you're turning a hobby into a side hustle or you're just doing a hobby website, then do it from the perspective of that. Okay? Okay, so I've given you plenty of room in the workbook so that you'll be able to answer those questions. At any point through this workshop, just hit pause on the video to give yourself the time needed to answer these questions. I promise you will find it easier to just get on and do it while you're watching this video. Okay. All right. Okay. So question number 2, why was your business, community or side hustle created? Okay. So obviously it's a little bit easier for businesses and communities. Side hustle, it may just be more that because it's a hobby, it's something you're very passionate about. But yeah, basically your reason why. So again, I'm going to give you a little bit of time to fill that in. And again, just hit pause if you need to. Alrighty, okay, so question 3. How would you like to be perceived through your website? Okay, so yeah, basically, how do you want the world to perceive who your business is, who your community is, or who you are if it's a hobby that you're taking online? Okay. All right, so question 4. What is the single most important thing your visitors want from your site? Now, this again is from their perspective. Okay, so obviously it can be quite hard to think of things from your visitor's perspective, but that's what I need you to do on question number 4. Okay, question number 5 is what is the single most important thing you want to convey on your site from your perspective? Okay, so this one obviously is a lot easier to do. Okay, and then question 6. So describe your target audience. Now again, I'm not asking for an essay on this or anything, and if you're really struggling with any of these questions, just leave them for now or ask me about them in the live Q&A later today. But I just wanted you to try to go through this because obviously then that way it'll help you actually make a website that will be useful to you. But I don't want this to put you off getting to the fun parts where we're going to be doing the actual graphics and the actual website tomorrow. So just answer as best as you can, describe your target audience. Okay, so question number 7. Why should customers choose your products or services over your competition? Okay, now if you're not sure how to answer that, you could always go and check out 2 or 3 of your competitors if you need to, and basically have a look at their websites and see what you like about their websites and what they're doing. And then also have a look at what you don't like about what they're doing. Jot all of that down and then kind of do a bit of a comparison on what it is you're offering and what they're offering. Now, there's a bonus round on this as well. If you really, really want to, you can also list out your products and services and then in 3 columns, put features, benefits, and outcomes. So then for each of your products and services, write down what the feature is, and then for that feature, what the benefit for it is, and then what that actual outcome is. Okay? So this one you will definitely want to pause the video for. Okay, and then finally, question number 8. How will you judge if this is a successful project? So how are you going to measure whether this week has been worth your time, and if your website has been worth your time, and if it was successful? So how are you going to measure that? Okay. And there you go. That wasn't so hard now, was it? You've already reached the first coffee break of the day. Okay, so how this is going to work is when I put this on the screen, yeah, let's face it, we're all going to need that by now. I just want you to again pause this video, go grab a coffee or a tea or a juice, whatever it is, go play with your dog or your cat or your children, like have a walk around for 5-10 minutes and then come back for section 2. Okay, so hello everybody and welcome back. So in this next bit, we're going to go through your customer journey. So this is probably something that you're all familiar with at this point, the know, like and trust aspects of the customer journey. So basically, know means that they're aware that you exist. They've found you maybe on social media, or you've been recommended by a friend or word of mouth. Okay, like means that they're actually consuming your content. So this could be your blog, or they've joined your mailing list, they're getting to know you, and they're building up the know, like, and trust factor, and they realise what you have to offer. Trust is then generally someone that will engage with you because they have a problem and you somehow serve that need by answering the questions that they have and helping them with that problem. They will get to a point they would like to buy from you, and they make sure you are what they are looking for and that you're a right fit and that you're good value for money. Okay, but it does continue. That is not the be all and end all of the customer journey. Okay, so the next bit is obviously buying from you. So that's fantastic. It means they're actually moving ahead and they're buying something from you. So obviously you need to then have a purchase sequence and a follow-up sequence and a nurture sequence, and also consider the role that your website takes in this part of your customer's journey. Next is that they actually use your product or service. Okay, so this is where the customer will see the results, and the opportunity here is for you to provide them with extra value or tutorials or other ways to use your product. And again, think about what role your website plays in this phase. And then the final one is that they share. So this means that they've been really happy with your product or service, and they start sharing their experience with you organically. So obviously that's bringing even more people to you. And then it brings new people into your awareness stage to start again with a new person. So that's the whole customer journey. Now I'm just going to go back again, because the other thing to remember about this is the know and the like mainly take place on social media. Okay, so you need to be aware of that, especially when you're planning and building your own website this week. So the know and the like tends to take place on your social media. Then they start consuming your content, both on your social media and possibly on your website. And that's then when they start to trust you, and then will ask you to help solve some of their problems and things like that. And then eventually then buy from you. And the buying part should always then take part on your actual website, not on social media. So don't go on social media and do the whole buy from me, because that's not what social media is for. Social media is for getting to know people and then getting to like people. And not everyone that knows you is going to like you. And not everybody that likes you is going to trust you. And not everybody that trusts you is going to buy from you. And even then, not everyone that buys from you is actually going to use what it is they bought from you or share it. So it's as we say, it's a funnel, okay? So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about your customer journey this week. Right, okay, so to the next part in your workbook, you've got a couple more questions to answer. Okay, so question number 9. What are your customers' needs, goals, expectations, or feelings? Okay, so this is where you really need to think about things from your customer's perspective. Obviously, if this is a community group that you're doing, then just again think of it from who it is you're trying to help with your community. And the same if you're doing a hobby website, think of this from who it is you're actually doing this for and who you're trying to help. Okay? Okay, so then question number 10, what are their emotions? So do they have any feelings about this? Is there any anxiety or frustration? Or are they actually being filled with hope because they actually feel that you're gonna solve some problem that they've got at the moment? Okay, so have a think about that from the different perspectives of the kind of site that you're building. Okay, and then the next thing is touch points. Now, the diagram over here, where I've broken it down into 4 bits, is part of the touch point. So basically, it's all about what's your customer doing, what are the actions that they're taking, and how are they interacting with you. And you've got to then think what those touch points are. And for each touch point, you kind of want to have a general idea of what their actions are, their motivations are, any questions that they may have and that are popping up for them, and any barriers that may be standing in the way to moving on to the next stage. Okay, so obviously a touch point could be that obviously they've come to your website and they're looking for more information. So what's the action that we want them to take? Well, we want them to find that information. Okay, and then their motivation could be, so say it's someone who's coming to my website, it could be they're literally looking for someone to build a website for them, and the motivation for that could be they're struggling with their existing website right now and it's very outdated, and it's not got all the features that they want it to have these days, and it doesn't really represent who they are and how the brand has changed. So that could be one of their motivations. The questions that could be coming up, especially for my industry, would be a lot of the jargon. They don't understand it possibly, and they might be uncertain about what it is they actually need now from a website. And then the barriers, definitely I think for my industry, is the cost. I think that can be a huge barrier for stopping people from moving on to the next stage. So if you can think of those kind of touch points for the website that you're building this week, and for each of those touch points, just jot a few of these things down, because again, it will just help you overall, and help your website that you're building this week achieve what you're setting out to get it to achieve. Okay. And oh, look at that. There you go. It's time for another coffee break. Okay, so again, I really hope that you've been pausing this video as and when you've needed to while you're filling in your workbook. Okay, so yeah, go get another coffee, go get another tea. If it's a nice sunny day out there, go and have a walk around your back garden. Obviously stay away from everybody right now. And I will catch you in part 3. Okay, so welcome back. So now that you know what you want to achieve with your shiny new website, how do you actually go about doing that? Okay, so that's what we're going to start getting to now in part 3. So first things first, you've actually got to figure out what kind of website pages are you going to be building this week. I know, right? Okay, so we are using MailChimp's website builder that is currently in beta. Now, the first thing I need you to realize is that at the moment they don't have a blog option and they don't allow custom code blocks. But that's okay, because I've already built some stuff in this and it is amazing. It will definitely help you build a website for free, okay, and still get going with a business or with a hobby, side hustle, or with a community group. I seriously promise you, okay? And there are other things that you can do if a blog is still a very big part of what you want to do. Like, you can link it through to your LinkedIn page or your Facebook page, or Medium. You know, it's not going to be an issue, because I'm sure it's going to be something that they're going to be releasing very, very soon. Okay, so, and plus remember, this is all about learning skills as well. So, okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, basically these are the kind of website pages you can make. Obviously you can make anything that you want that's not a blog and that doesn't contain custom code. These are the kind of pages that are kind of standard website pages. So obviously take a look at those, and on your workbook, you've actually got your website pages page, which should be page number 6. And basically, if you just kind of tick off which of those you think you would like on your website, obviously they can be renamed. So if it's more appropriate to call your portfolio gallery instead, or if your community meetups aren't called community meetups but they have a certain name, then obviously that's what you'd call that. Testimonials can also be called reviews. Obviously you can have case studies, but you could have an article on there instead. You could also even just do a news page. Like I said, it won't be a proper blog where you can add loads of articles underneath it, but you can still just create a page and have a few like news items on there. You can do an FAQs. You definitely need to do a terms and conditions and privacy policy, because we all have to do that these days. And if you're selling anything via this website, then also you're probably going to want to do a refunds, returns and delivery policy if it's an actual product that you're shipping out to somebody. The about, again, can be about your business or your community group or yourself if this is a hobby site. And then obviously you've got your home. Okay, so if you just go through that now and check off which pages you think you would like. And also I've left you a space to fill in any other pages that you can think of adding. Okay, so again, just pause the video and do that page in your workbook. Okay, so the next bit is taking a look at the sections. So what do I mean by sections? Basically, this is all coming from MailChimp's website builder. Okay, so whenever we create a new page, and you're gonna discover this for yourself tomorrow, it comes already with these sections in there. Now, we can change those sections, but they are the sections that it already pre-comes with on every page. Okay, so each page comes with a header and a featured section, then an about, then a contact, a product, testimonials, a subscribe section, the footer, and a notification bar that you can switch on and off. Okay, so I just want you to keep this in mind, and again, have a think about the kind of pages it is that you're doing. And then you can make a note of it in your workbook. Okay, and then blocks. Now this is another thing for you to also consider for your pages. So these are the current blocks that are available in the MailChimp builder. Okay, so you've got text blocks, you've got box text blocks, you've got dividers, images, image groups, image cards, images and text. You've got the share buttons and the social following buttons. You've got buttons. You can add the products once you link it up to your Square account, which also then includes the promo codes, and you can embed videos. I think from YouTube and Vimeo. So we'll be playing around with that tomorrow as well. Okay, so again, just keep these in mind as you're thinking about the kind of pages that you want to create on your shiny new website. Okay, so again, just pause the video and have a think about those. Okay, so in your workbook, basically, I want you to have a think about what website pages you would like to create. So just remember, there's no blog or custom code blocks. The next thing you also need to do is what's the purpose of the page from a visitor's perspective? Okay, so, and this is really, really important because you need to know the purpose of the page from both a visitor's perspective, but also from your own perspective as the business or the community group or the person with a hobby, okay? Because if your page has no purpose for either you or the visitor, then there's literally no point in that web page existing. And unfortunately, there are millions of websites out there that this is exactly their problem. Like, they've got these pages and there's just no purpose to them at all for anybody. They're of just no use to anybody. Okay, so it needs to have a reason for the visitor as well as for yourself. Okay, and then once you've got an idea of that, then that's when you can go and choose your sections for each page, choose your blocks for each page. And then if you really, really want to get a gold star, you can also on some, either the final page in the workbook or on some scraps of paper that you've got lying around, sketch out roughly what you'd like each page to look like, because you're gonna make them tomorrow. Okay? So there you go, that's it, guys. You have made it through the whole of day one, part one. How do you feel? I'm really, really hoping that wasn't as hard as you expected it to be. I'm hoping that you've learned an awful lot, but I promise you everything else is now going to be hands-on, actually making stuff and getting all creative and everything. But to be able to do that and it be worthwhile, we did need to do the actual foundation and actually really seriously thinking about what it is you're trying to make. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed that. And I will see you in part 2 this afternoon, where we're going to then go in Canva and start making some logos and colour schemes and graphics. Okay, I'll see you then. Bye.